Hello everyone. So we'll continue with the Allure reports in this particular video also. Let me quickly summarize you about the last part that we discussed about for Allure. So in last part we did do a sample Maven code and we saw how do we generate Allure reports, right? And in this video we are going to see how can we make them more interactive and more informative, right? So we did discuss that we can add multiple categories, we can add its severity level, we can add multiple logs to our Allure reports. And in this video, we are just going to see that. And trust me, it's really going to be very, very exciting. Okay, so we'll quickly get started. Okay, so and link to my previous video for Allure reports part 1, I'll be providing in the description. Okay, so let me now move to my Eclipse. Okay. Okay, guys, so here am I, right? So this is our last project that we created, correct? In which what we did was, okay, we created a very, very simple code of going to the Amazon page and just validating its title, right? So I'll continue with the same class today. Okay, so okay. So we did put a assert here. So what I'm going to do right now is let's organize our code to a bit. Okay, so I'll put a before test. I'll say public void setup, within which I'm going to put this code of mine. Okay, till the get part. Control X, Control V. Let's also import it. Okay, this WebDriver, this needs to be on global level so that other functions can recognize it. Okay, I'll also make it static so that it holds its value, and I want to use the global driver itself, so I'll just do this. Okay, fine. So in my before, okay, let me just format it right. Okay, so in my before test method, what I've done is I have initialized my Chrome browser, I've maximized it, I moved on to my Amazon website, and let me also put driver dot manage dot timeouts dot implicitly wait of 10 seconds. Okay. Okay, guys, so we are done with the basic setup, right? Now we'll create few functions also. So say like right now what we have done is we have said driver dot get title, right? So let me do one thing. Public, it would return a string, get page title, and what it would return? It would return this particular thing. Okay, and I'll call my function here. So what is this going to do? So within this assertion, I have called my get page title function. It would come here, it would get driver.get title. So it will fetch the title of the page and it return me its value. Okay, which will get right here. Okay, fine. Now, similarly, let's remove this driver.quit from here and let me put it in before test method. Okay, sorry, in after test method. So I'll just do public void tear down and I'll say driver.quit. Okay, let's create few more test cases. So one test case I have created to validate the title of the page. We can also create another test case. Public. Okay, let's go to Amazon and let's see what more test cases can be prepared. Okay, so I'll quickly go to my Chrome. Okay, so okay, so right now we have validated the title. Let's what can we do? Okay, guys, let's validate if we are getting a sign in link here or not. Okay, so for that I would need its XPath. So let's open the developers tool, and now we are going to inspect it. Okay, so this is an anchor tag whose ID is nav account list. Okay, so let me do the same, having an anchor tag whose ID is nav account list, and let's validate for its span. Okay, so we see here its span. If I expand it, okay, so its first span is what we are talking about. Span of one, I will have to say. So its first span has the text of hello, sign in, right? And let's validate if this text is present in the web element or not. Okay, so I'll just copy this XPath, go back to my Eclipse, and I'll say public void validate sign in link. Okay, now here I need to assert if that link is present or not. So for that I'll just create another function returning me boolean is element present. Okay, so I'm doing it in a very simple code right now, guys. I'm not using page factory, page object model, or anything else. I'm not keeping locators anywhere else in properties file or something similar, right? So please go with your page factory or page object model, however your project structure is. We will be also working on that. We'll also see that in my future videos, but right now for understanding purpose I'm doing it in a very simple way. Okay, so I'll just try. Okay, so let's say this function takes in a web element as a parameter. Okay, so web element and I can simply return element dot is displayed. Okay, I can just check if the element that I have passed on is displayed on my page or not. Okay, or you can do another thing. You can simply check if the element that you have sent to this particular function is it present on my web page or not. Okay, now what I'm going to do here, I'm right now doing another assert true. Okay, I'll take this one. I like this one more because this takes a string message also as a parameter. What does a string message means? If your this condition is failing, in that case this message will also be printed. Okay, so you can give any random message for better understanding of yours. Okay, fine. So I'll just say, okay, I'll just call this function is element present, and within that I can pass on my web element. So let me put that web element here. Web element sign in link is equal to driver dot find element by dot xpath. Okay, I'll have to go to back to my Chrome to get it. Okay, so here is my link, sign in link, and I'll pass this sign in link as a parameter, and as a message I would say sign in link was not present in the page. Okay, and let's do one more thing, guys. Is element present and text present? Okay, so we are also validating the text of the element, so we are validating the element plus the text. Okay, so let me not do it this way, rather I'll just refactor. That's something which I like more, because it also changes all the references, so I don't need to rename it again. Okay, so is element and text present. Okay, okay, so what I'll do here, return if element is displayed. I'll keep an and here, and element dot get text dot, maybe I'll put an equals ignore case. And what text am I expecting? I'm expecting why is it not, it's not responding, I don't know why. Okay, let me remove this highlighter from you, maybe that could be the reason. It's not see. Okay, yep, fine. So okay, so I am validating if my element is displayed and whether the element has a text which I want or not. Okay, so even this text, let me pass it on as a parameter, string value, and this one I can just say value here. Okay, and here when I'm calling the function, I've passed a web element of sign in link, right? And I will also pass my value. That okay. Okay, so I'm done. What is it like? I've got a web element of sign in link, and I want that the value present in that web element should be this particular thing, right? So I've created a function is element in text present, which takes that element and value as a parameter. So it's going to check if that element is displayed and if the text given in the element is right or not, okay, is as my expectation or not. It will accordingly return it to me the boolean value true or false, and it's going to assert it as true, right? Okay guys, so we are done with our coding part. Now let's move to our Allure features. Okay, so fine, now the multiple features that we have. You must be knowing that with @test we can put a description, correct? Here I can write this test case helps me validating the title of the page, correct? So this description, guys, is given to us by TestNG, right? Similarly, what you can do is I can put a description tag here, right? So see, it's coming from the Allure package and it says annotation that allows to attach a description for a test or for a step. Okay, so we are going to put this description, and you can like put anything here, just like the description of TestNG. You can also put a description in your Allure reports. Okay, so let me write the same thing here. This test case helps us to validate the title of the page, right? Okay. Now, at the rate, there's another great feature wherein you can put the severity. Okay. Now see guys, some of our test cases are on blocker level, right? So they are like major. Some are normal test cases, some are minor. Trivial means low priority, right? So guys, do not link it as a bug. We are talking at the test case level, right? So what you can do here, you can mention the severity level of your test case. That okay, my this test case is major, this test case is minor, so that your reports, when you see your reports or when you show your reports to someone else, they understand, okay, your 4 blocker have passed, the failures are from the minor ones, right? That gives a better understanding to the person who is seeing it, correct? So let me say that, okay, this test case is a blocker test case. Okay. Okay, though it is not, but I'm just mentioning it. Okay, another thing, let's talk about one more feature. It's story, right? So guys, okay, so you have Jira stories, correct? Please do not link it with Jira stories. I'm just giving an example that ideally the process that we follow is we do create a Jira story, and within that story you have multiple test cases, correct? So similarly what you can do is you can also say that okay, my this test case belongs to this particular story, just for a better understanding again. Okay, so Allure will be showing it accordingly that okay, this story contains these test cases and this story contains this test cases. So what I can say, you can also put a Jira number here. Say I say Jira 1345. Okay, guys, please do not get confused that this will get it linked to your actual Jiras. This is not, because you see this is just a string that I'm providing. This is just for your stakeholders to see that okay, this Jira, this is the Jira number and this is my test case. Okay, this is just for that information, nothing with the real linking to the Jira part. Okay, so okay, this story checks the basic elements of web page, right? So you have put a description, a severity and a story on a test case. I can copy this entirely same thing again, and I can do the same for my another test case also. Okay, let me do a few changes. Validate sign in link, so validate the sign in link of the page. Okay, let's say that okay, yeah, its severity level should be blocker actually. Let me change this severity level to normal. Okay, so let guys, nothing like that. I'm just changing the severity. Okay, you can mention multiple test cases for the same severity, like your 5 can be of blocker level, 2 can be of normal level. Okay, I'm just changing it as per the requirement right now. Like I feel that this is of normal, so I'm putting it normal and this as blocker. I can put both as blocker or both as normal. That's not an issue. Okay, coming to stories, again, like if this both test case belongs to same story, let it be the same. If you feel that no, this belongs to different stories, keep it as different. Okay, your reports will segregate it accordingly. Okay, so similarly there's another thing also saying feature. Okay, you can also mark your test with the feature level, as its Java doc says, right? So I can also say that okay, my this test case is So similarly, we have another level also saying feature, right? Okay, so I can also say my test case belongs to this particular feature. So what do I say? Okay, let's not write too much. Sign in link. Okay, I can also say this. And this time let's put different features. Okay, sign in link, validate, title. Okay guys, so these are few informations which are going to be seen in our Allure reports. Now after this, we have created functions for my test cases, right? Like this function checks if the element is present on the page, if the text is correct or not. Similarly, this thing validates the title of the page. So what I can do is I can put another annotation here saying @step, right? And what is this step going to do? I can say here, okay, getting or fetching the title of the page. Okay, similarly I have this one. Now I can say @step, validating if, sorry, I didn't put double quotes, validating if element. Now here guys, I want to also show the user this element and this particular value, like which element am I talking about and which value am I talking about, right? So what I can say is validating if element, I can do this. Okay, so 0 under curly braces indicates your 0th parameter to the given function. Okay, so what is going to do, validate if element, this particular element is displayed on page with text. Now I want to print its second parameter, so I can pass on 1 here. Okay, so 1 will indicate its second parameter, right? Okay, so like we are pretty much done with most of the exciting features, right? So we have added a description, severity, stories, features. We have also added a steps, and now let's see how would my Allure look. Okay, so guys, this was the, okay, let it just open. Okay, so this was the Allure report that we saw in our last video, right? So we had run it, we had our one test case, this suit. You see this feature by stories, this is blank right now. Also, if I go to my graphs, I have one normal test case because by default your test cases are normal. If you do not assign severity to your test case, it would take it as normal, right? Also, if I go to my packages, I expand this, we don't see anything here as such. Like I see it as blank. It just shows that, okay, it passed, but it doesn't show any other important information here, right? So let's see how does my code run now. For that, let me quickly run my code. Okay, okay, and I click on run. Almost done. Okay, so I see my browser has opened. It should check everything and it should get closed. Okay, I see my total test run 2 passes 2. I also see my test cases has passed. Let me just refresh it. Okay, I have my Allure results here. I'll copy the path again. Okay, let me go to my command prompt. Okay, okay, so this is my last Allure running. I can terminate it and I can again say Allure serve with the path to my Allure results directory, right? Okay. And here I go, right? So it shows my two test case. Both has passed, right? We'll go to the suits in some time. Let's come here. So it shows feature by stories, right? So we have put different features if you see. Okay, let me just close it. So we have said this feature is validate title and this feature is sign in link. So similarly, it's showing sign in link and validate title, right? Okay. So in behaviors, it would segregate it as stories. So see here guys, it do segregate it by feature, following which it do segregate it by stories. So say you can have multiple stories for single feature, right? So it would accordingly segregate it. The first segregation would be feature. Under that, say you had two test cases for the same story, so it would have clubbed that into one story. I mean one story and both the test cases being seen here. Okay, let's also now click here. Okay, so here you see we have set the severity level as blocker. This test case helps me in validating the sign-in link of the page. Okay, I see my steps haven't populated here. Let's see, but before that, let's see the other features. Okay, so we saw the overview tab. We haven't done anything for the categories right now, so okay, let it be. Coming to the suit. Okay, so you see the suit here. Okay, so you see here the description because we have provided the description here. As we have not provided anything here, it's just showing it like this. Okay, you see the description that we have provided right here and the execution logs here, which we are not seeing right now. We'll see why. Okay, so one blocker test case passed and you see the name of the blocker case, one normal passed, and you also see the title of the the title of the normal test case, right? Okay, it shows you the duration, which test case took what time span to run. You can also see that in the timeline window, and that's pretty much correct. So this is how your Allure reports look like. Now let's quickly see why did my step didn't show here. Let me go back to my Eclipse. Okay, I have put it correctly. Okay, let's try running it once more. I don't see any issues as such. Okay. Okay, I got it. Okay, guys, so one thing. So previously in the previous versions of Allure, so sorry for making this mistake, guys. So till the previous versions of Allure, even if you ran it through testng.xml, your steps were being supported. Okay, so but with the latest version of Allure, all your plugins are dependent, do work on top of Maven. Okay, so it's mandatory that you run it using your pom.xml file. Okay, you do need to run it through pom.xml in order for these steps to work. Okay, so right now what we saw is all of these things were seen, but we didn't see the steps, right? So till the older versions of Allure, everything worked if we ran it through testng.xml, but with the latest version there's a change that everything works on top of Maven, so it's mandatory that you run it through pom.xml. Okay, so sorry, I didn't I just missed that out. Okay, so I'll quickly explain the pom.xml file, right? As we know, this Surefire plugin is responsible for our test execution, correct? And under this, I've given the configuration and I've set the path to my testng.xml file. Here, we have set the Java agent to run my code, and that's pretty much okay. No more changes. We have the dependencies here, right, with the latest version of everything, and we are good to go. So let's run our code. So you can just right click here, say run as. We can go for Maven build. Okay. If you have any issues with this, you can go to run configurations. Okay. And you can say that, okay, I want to run it as Maven build, and you can create a new configuration. Okay. So as soon as you create a new configuration, you'll see a window like this. Okay, so do put this goals here, clean test. Okay, so as soon as you put clean test, this run button will be enabled, and I click on run. Okay, my test run has started. And yeah, it's done. Right? Okay, now let's refresh it. I see my Allure results folder here. Correct? I can now go back to my command prompt. Okay, here it is. So this is the previous one which I had opened. Let me close it. Yes, and let me open my results again. Okay, so I see my two test cases, both passing. Okay, I loaded graphs. I click on suits. So you can also filter. So I'll directly click here. Ah, sorry. So it actually filters it out. So I don't want that. Let me click on it again. Okay. So coming here, and you see here guys, right? So this test case has been validating, and in test body, like right now I had only one step, so it's only one. It would be multiple depending on your choice, right? And here, as we had parameterized it, validating if this element with this particular X part is displayed on page with text, hello, sign in, right? And if you click on it, you'll see both your parameters here, right? So similarly, say you are doing something with credentials, like you are logging into a website with username and password, right? So you can also put that username and password here. So if you're doing it for a valid credentials and an invalid credential set, you can obviously say like validating uh, correct credentials login, and then you can say username and password, and then you say validating incorrect credentials login, and then you again say your username and password, right? So you see how informative is that, right? So here we see all the graphs showing the pass failure percentage. We also see it by features, wherein it is also be segregated by stories, and then you can see it in package structures. You can also see it on the severity level, which is a very good feature in Allure TestNG, and I personally love this feature. Okay, and now there is one more thing. Okay, so categories. Right now it's coming as blank, right? So I would suggest guys go to, okay, so let me type Allure official site, okay? Okay, so you'll get this site, guys, docs.qameta.io. Go here. Want to bring even more information, like you can put a link to your test cases to the Jira if you want to, and many other things, right? Similarly, a very good thing here is also categories. Right. So you see here, you can also create custom defects classification in this particular pattern. Like you can say that, okay, this type of issues goes into infrastructure problems, this type of issues goes into outdated test. Okay, so you can basically divide your failed test cases or your broken test cases into some categories. And how can you create those categories? You can go to the link here, and this explains you that how can you create your custom categories. Okay, so there is a categories.json file in the Allure results directory that is generated automatically. Okay, just open that file, do these changes, okay, and then generate your report, and you can see this. Okay, it's as easy as this. That's all for today's video, guys. Hope we have together learned so many things about how can we make our Allure reports more informative, more attractive. And in our next video we are going to see something really interesting. What we are going to see? We are going to see that if a test case fails, how can we attach the screenshot? Like if a test case is failing, we want the logs of that failure, plus we also need a screenshot, right? So for that we will need attachment annotation provided by Allure, and we would also need listeners thing for that. Okay, so that will be covering for in the next video. Okay, thanks a lot for watching, guys, and do let me know for any questions in the comment section. Thank you. Bye bye.